Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Eleanor Niekevater and this is my review of Recursion by Blake Crouch. This is a very interesting story. It's very gripping and it's very hard to discuss this book without spoilers just because of the nature of the story. So I'm just going to read the back of the book for you first. What if someone could rewrite your entire life? At first, it looks like a disease, an epidemic that spreads through no known means, driving its victims mad with memories of a life they never lived. But the force that's sweeping the world is no pathogen. It's just the first shockwave, unleashed by a stunning discovery. And what's in jeopardy is not just our minds. In New York City, Detective Barry Sutton is closing in on the truth, and in a remote laboratory, neuroscientist Helena Smith is unaware that she alone holds the key to this mystery and the tools for fighting back. Together, Barry and Helena will have to confront their enemy before they and the world are trapped in a loop of ever-growing chaos. This is hugely action-packed. It's very, very clever, and it's very, very mind-bending. It does have a little bit of a slow start because books like this, you need to have a kind of build up while you're working at what's going on. But when you hit that halfway mark, 2/3 mark, I couldn't put it down. I read the last section in like one sitting. It was so good and just so engrossing. Really, really exciting. And the concept in the story that's explored is so interesting and it really messes with your brain and you end up thinking about it and contemplating it and going, what would that be like if that's the way it worked? And the mess they end up in because of this problem that they're trying to solve, they end up in this kind of never-ending kind of situation, and it's so clever and really mind-bending, and you really have to pay attention because most of the chapters start with like a date and a time and like a reference kind of to what's going on. And to be honest, I was quite confused by a lot of it, but I quite like books where I'm confused. I don't always like to know what's going on the whole time because part of the mystery is that unknown factor and you're trying to puzzle out what's going on and you being led along by the author leading you along and like feeding you bit by bit. That's part of the fun for me. I like books where I'm confused sometimes, as long as it's done cleverly and as long as the payoff in the end is good. And I love the payoff in this book. It all wrapped up really well, really cleverly, and there's not that many characters in this story that you're focusing on. It's got very, very few characters, but I feel like they're all very well written, very well explored, and they all just work together cohesively and bring about this story in such an interesting way. I don't think it goes in the way you expect, because the way this opens up and the kind of introduction you get and the ideas that are explored in the beginning, you're not quite sure as the reader, along with the main characters, you're not quite sure where this is going. And then when you find out where it's going, that's when your brain kind of explodes and you go, oh my goodness, what are the possibilities? Where is this going? It's just very, very interesting. The backdrop of this story is mostly set in New York City before other things come into play and things change. And it's just a very interesting perspective, and I really enjoy all the characters. There wasn't any one that I found really annoying or obnoxious. Even the kind of token, like the bad guy, he was a very interesting character, and I thought he was very well developed as well and had quite clear motivations. And again, it's just a brilliant concept. If you read Dark Matter, I think you would really enjoy this. A lot of people kind of criticise Recursion by saying it is just the same book as Dark Matter. It's just the same idea explored in a different way. And I don't think it is. I think they're very different, but I did appreciate leaving a gap between reading Dark Matter and then reading Recursion, or doing it the other way around. Like, I would recommend you don't read them back to back, because although they're not the same concept, I'm trying not to spoil things, although they're not the same concept, I can understand why people think they are the same thing, because stylistically the way Blake Crouch has written this book has a similar feel to Dark Matter. So maybe you wouldn't enjoy whichever one you read second as much because you're so much so thinking of the first one you read. So I still gave this 5 stars, and I gave Dark Matter 5 stars because I read them far enough apart that I could separate them and I could appreciate them individually, and I wasn't always drawing parallels back to Dark Matter. Blake Crouch is a brilliant storyteller, and I enjoy the way he's weaved this story together, and I think it's really, really, really clever. And if you like sciencey things, interesting kind of higher concept explored, I think this is a book you would enjoy. You've got a neuroscientist in there, and the concept explored and where the problems lie, and this disease and epidemic that you kind of learn more about. It's all very done very cleverly, and the science aspect is really, really fun, and I enjoyed it. But you also have the kind of other end of following the character that's the detective, Barry Sutton. And I think that gives a nice balance, especially in the beginning. So you've got the one point of view where it's very sciencey, very technologically heavy, and you're trying to work out what's going on, and then you've got an on-the-ground cop kind of detective in New York City kind of try to work out what's going on, and I think they balance each other out very well. And yeah, overall I just loved the story, thought it was great, and would highly recommend you pick up Recursion. Let me know in the comments below if you've read this book, what you thought of it, if you've read Dark Matter for that matter. So yeah, so thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.